Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, darlings. It is another glorious Wednesday, darling. And you know what time it is, honey. It's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. Hello there, my babies, and all of my tea sippers. I'm sitting up here now. Child, honey, my computer done died on me and things, and I'm going through some things over here. So y'all going to have to bear with me, please, on my end. But we got it together. It's just that I'm running a little slower than usual on my screen. So that's just to let you know what's going on here. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or want to feel free to join in on the conversation, please log in. Call in at 347-205-9183, 347-205-9183. Once you do that, and just press the number 1 key, and then once we do that, honey, we'll bring you on into the system, and then we're going to go from there. Right now, like I say, honey, the screen is moving all slow on me. Right now, honey, the chat room is open, or the tea room, so if you want to go over there, you can dish your tea over there. Please dish your tea responsibly, honey. Remember, this is the written word, and sometimes we tend to go into these things, honey, and we put our own emphasis or whatever into the do-wah-diddy, and we end up misconstruing some things, and we get all huffy and puffy. So don't go throwing your computers and things at walls or cussing and fussing and this, that, and the other. Just understand that it's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable, all right? So dish your tea over there responsibly for me. Again, if you want to call in, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please, the number to call in is 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Okay, I wish to thank you all for your love and your support. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, dear Meech letters, advice, or whatever that you need from me or want to see or want to have show ideas to bring onto the show, please email me at bigmeech@dishingtea.com. Again, that's bigmeech@dishingtea.com. Pretty soon, honey, the website will be up. Dishingtea.com will be coming up. I know I've been telling y'all for a little minute, honey, it's under development, and it is. We've, had some technical difficulties with putting the things together. Like I said, computers and stuff have already been falling apart and blah-yakety, but we're getting it together. You hear what I say? You heard what I say? Mm-hmm. So, yes. At this point, let me put my disclaimer right here because y'all know how I roll, honey. This show is for mature audiences, and the language or subject matters that are used are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. Again, your listening discretion is advised. And I'm saying all that because y'all know I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it. I'm grown. Okay. And none of you bitches are going to sit up there and get mad at me because you're not doing the responsible thing at your work, if you're around kids or whatever. Govern yourself accordingly, please. Put your headphones on, turn the volume down to where it's not disrespectful, and everything will roll because y'all know I'm coming out of a bag. I don't know which bag, just know that I'm coming out of one. And consider yourselves warned. I will repeat, your listening discretion is advised. You got me? All right, then. So now, we're going to keep things moving right along. As you all know, today's show, darling, I am bringing on, honey, she has been affectionately called the First Lady of Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and carrying on. Honey, she has henceforth just been able to do her thing. And before I bring her in, honey, I just want everybody to understand that this is a joy for me because this girl is my sister. She's my new sister friend, and I'm just having a ball with her. But before we get into all of that, let me go here because I want you guys to understand what she's all about. Listen to this.
This song right here goes out to all my brothers and sisters all across the land. No matter what you're going through, you gotta keep your head up. God is with you. God is with you. Troubled world that I see every day through my eyes. So beautiful, God created me. Many people, many places, Lord have mercy, by earth we're separated, and I'm just trying to get along in this world on my own, and I'm just trying to get along in this world on my own. I shall never worry, 'cause I'm not alone. God is with me, and I know He won't let me go. So if you're out there and you're lonely, just remember, faith is power, and you're not alone. Is alone in this world. I'm here in the world on my
Say all right now.
Hey.
World, honey, girl. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the tune you just heard, honey, is from the latest CD project, honey, Something About Faith. Honey, this is the one and the only, the first lady herself, Miss Faith Evans. Hey, Sugar Plum.
Hey, Big Meat. How you doing today?
Baby, I am deliciously divine, honey. Everything is all in the right place. You hear what I say?
You are crazy.
Oh, girl, no, you the one, sister. You the one, honey. I done just told everybody, honey, you have just become my new sister friend.
Okay.
And yes, my girl. See, let me give everybody a little backstory. See, I finally met Faith face-to-face when we were working on Soul Kid and Cabaret in North Carolina last year. And for those of you who have not seen it yet, you'll get your opportunity because it's going to be airing on BET this month. So check your BET listings. But when I met this sister, honey, when she came up in there and was getting her stuff together, I bonded with her very instantly. And she's so real. She's so home, just a home sister. And I was like, yes, girl, okay. And I told her, you ain't nothing like, the tabloids and stuff wanted to picture you. Or for those who wanted to throw shade, honey. I was like, no, this is sister. Okay. So
the shade usually falls right back at them.
Well, see, you know what? It always happens because when you sit up there and live your life under trees, honey, you have to admit that the shade not only covers you, and when as you're trying to throw it, but that shade also covers you and envelops you. So that shade that you throw out there, honey, is gonna come back because it has no choice. It's going full circle. Everything is in a circle. So with that, so my darling, let's get started because I know your time is limited and things, and I know you said you have some things you needed to do. So to all of my sponsors, I'm going to say hello to y'all later and do a couple of things towards the end of the broadcast. So I thank you all. I love you. I'm not forgetting you, and we just want to make sure we get Miss Faith in on this. Sugar, because I want to start in doing my research with you. The very first question that came to my mind is taking you back to doing Fighting Temptations. The character that you played in that particular movie, I understand in your research that your mom was a singer. And I was wondering, when you went for that role, were you channeling your mom and her earlier beginnings and your beginnings and carrying on? Because that seemed to parallel you in a lot of ways.
To be quite honest, it was more identical to my own story. I mean, although I wasn't necessarily put out of the church or put out of the choir, but my grandparents who raised me, they were very, very devout Christians. And, that generation of Christians, I want to say, especially the black church, a lot of stuff, and maybe it's not limited to the black church, but I grew up in the black church. There's this whole stigma with any music that's not gospel music is, considered devil music or, worldly. So that was always something that in the back of my mind, although I didn't know I was going to be a recording artist, I always knew I was going to want to be a singer of some sort. And, for a long time, all I sang was gospel music. And when I finally wanted to break out of just doing that, I even had issues, which I wrote about in my memoir, Keep the Faith, that I had to write a letter and, denounce my standing with the group because the lady would keep going back to my grandmother. She was from the church, too, and, trying to tell her to make me be in the group and, and so forth. So there was this whole thing, I felt a way about if I didn't want to sing gospel music moving forward. But I think I had to just really just show them how serious I was once I started really being in the studio a lot, and it actually started getting me a little bit of money. Even when I was in 11th and 12th grade, I got a job doing background vocals, and I remember getting my first check from AFTRA or what have you, and I was able to pay my whole, senior year expenses and stuff like that. So I guess that kind of meant something. So they saw that I was serious about it, and so it became a lot easier after that, But that was certainly something growing up that I had to consider quite a bit.
Ooh, see, now you touched on a lot, and see, a lot of the stuff you've talked about in your book, and I want folks to make sure that they go and get it. So I'm going to be jumping around here and there as I hit on stuff because I want this to be a good hodgepodge. You know what I mean? I really don't want it to be point by point. Okay, we're starting at the beginning and then we're gonna because I think that becomes a little bit blasé. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
I'm with you.
Let me go here. Because you were saying that, when you first got your taste of the business, you were writing, you were singing background, and then you were singing background for I was going to say something wrong, for Al B. Sure.
Wait, let me interject, though. I actually was not a background singer. I ended up getting one job, and that was because I went and met with an attorney, and I had a couple of songs I demoed, and he wasn't necessarily, like, in a position where I can just get you a deal based on this, but he called me and said, would I like to do a session? That was actually the only session I did as a quote-unquote background singer, which was for High Five. I just ended up doing, like, demo vocals for some of the songs that Al B. Sure wrote. Like, he heard me sing, and then he was like, you've been sitting here every day. I didn't even know you could sing. And so he started paying me to come to the studio to sing his songs that he had written. Like, they were already, he would let me know how it went, and then I would go in there and kind of put my little stank on it, and then he started calling me back all the time, which kind of became me showing my arrangement skills. I think that was beyond my vocals. He saw my arrangement skills. Like, I could go in there with a sheet of lyrics and hear the music and just make it into a melody, or make up a melody for the words. So it was more so like that, how I kind of started working with Al B. Sure.
Oh, dig that. So a lot of, do you feel that your talent is innate, or would you suggest that folks go to school, or a combination of both? Because a lot of folks think that just because they can sing that they know what a melody is, and this, that, and the other. But what was that like for you?
You know what? It's funny. I never went to like vocal lessons or anything, but I sang since I was, since I could talk, and was in choirs, which being in a choir, of any sort or group or something like that, where you have to sing different parts and you're holding your note, that's a lesson in itself, So I did that for years, and then I started fiddling around, going in little studios with the gospel groups I was in, writing songs way before I was considered a quote-unquote songwriter. So I think my schooling came differently. I mean, it certainly is not a bad thing to be trained in, to be formally trained. I did take piano lessons, but to be honest, I can read and write music, but I didn't really retain the playing. I can't accompany myself, but I can sit down and I can see some music written on a music sheet and know those notes and know what they are on the keyboard, but it takes me a minute. I'm not going to be Alicia Keys.
Okay, I'm not Alicia Keys, but I am Faith Evans, honey.
Well, I couldn't accompany myself, which I always wish I could do. But people are surprised sometimes when I could see a staff sheet of music and like, oh, that's C, and play it out. But, It's just different. Some people know the technical. Some people just get it naturally. I think I got a little bit of both, but more than just it came natural and me having a good ear and things like that.
Ooh, darling, that's what I need. I need that ear. Ooh, I'm okay. I just need that ear. Yeah, and it's it's getting stronger over the years and all of that. But let's go here because, of course, a lot of people know Faith Evans from a lot of the bad boy era, and this, that, and the other. What I want to do before we start to really get into that, because I don't know if I want to rehash any of that, what I do want to do is, what is the biggest misconception that you believe folks have of Faith Evans from all that you've been through with that era up until now? What has been the biggest misconception?
Oh, boy. There's been so many. Maybe the biggest, I think, and, I think it's fair to say the biggest because beyond music and beyond people that get into or may not even be fans of our genre of music, a lot of people, just different things in the first. I think probably fair to say the biggest would be the whole East Coast, West Coast misconception and, people not really understanding that issue wasn't really a Biggie, say, Tupac, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's probably the main one because it was so well-traveled in the media, so
Oh, yeah, you said that. It was so well traveled. Okay.
It was.
Okay. So at this particular, you know what? Now, I'm going to ask this because I had my coworker say, when you get her on the show, ask her this question if she can speculate. If Biggie was alive today, where do you think the music would be today?
Well, I can't necessarily say that things would necessarily be different because the technological aspect of things is kind of really what changed a lot of people being so accessible to, you know, whoever. Anybody can put their stuff out there in the blogosphere or what have you.
You better say that.
But at the same time, I do think the bar would still be even that much higher because there's still great lyricists and great MCs out there that are still, you know, alive and making records today. Your Jay-Z's, your Wayne, you know, Eminem's. But at the same time, it would be just that much higher because all of those people respect him.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he would still be making great music. And the funny thing, even though you didn't ask me this, I tend to always say this, I know we would be great friends, even if we weren't together as a couple.
Dig that.
We would be great friends.
Dig that.
Yeah.
Now, you know, as the title of First Lady, do you still honor that title, hold on to that title, or has the media let that become a gimmick?
I don't think so because, you know, I never started calling myself that until one time when I was trying to think of the title of my fourth album.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I was listening to my Keep the Faith album, my Faithfully album, and I'm like, Puff said it on the intro, the First Lady, like he's the one that said it. And I never took that title even when he said it then. Like, I'm the First Lady. I more so started saying it once I decided to call my album that. Yeah, but I mean, I definitely found a sense of, you know, understanding how to explain the title. You know, I definitely, number one, was the first solo female that he had, and the whole perception and the way he wanted me perceived when I first came out was as just a lady, you know, a lady, not the sex kittenish, sexy but still classy. So I think that's probably what he meant by it.
Mm.
You know, me being the female that's representing that camp as the female artist, you know, that's solo, and then, you know, being a lady, being ladylike, and you know, trying to deal with things with dignity and grace. That's something that I've definitely done without regard to that title, so I think it all made sense.
Exactly. That's very interesting. Now, see, because along with that brand came, you know, Lil Kim and all those other little children that came up. Was there always a battle, you know, between what Lil Kim had to offer, this, that, and the other, versus what you were standing out? Was that always a clash business-wise, or did that ever come into play?
Not at all, because Kim was Big's artist and I was Puff's artist. So, I mean, that one thing had nothing to do with the next. And she didn't, you know, I came out before Junior Mafia and Kim as a solo artist. So one thing had nothing to do with the next at all.
Dig that. Okay. All right. Now let's go into some of the media hype. Okay.
Okay.
Because I love to have folks, you know, sit down and dispel a lot of things. Because, you know, there was this whole big old public thing, you know, Lil Kim and you, that the media was putting out. There was this bad vibe. When the movie came out, it kind of put you in a certain light. You was the way the movie portrayed you, girl, you was a roughneck little bitch, honey. And I'm like, oh, girl. Okay.
To that I say I was Joan of Arc in my former life. I mean, I am from the bricks, baby, and I was straight out of the bricks at that time. So yeah, I was still a little gangster.
Okay.
A little bit. And plus, you know what? I mean, and two, back to your question. I mean, it's well documented, a lot of things. That's why when I wrote my memoir, I said that would be the only time I really chose to speak in such detail about all those different situations.
Right.
And yes, there were issues between us. Once I found out that she was involved with my husband, that wasn't something that existed from the onset. I actually tried to, befriend her, or not so much befriend her, but I was, I'm cool with everybody. So I just, once I found out, we had beef.
Okay,
but
right.
I mean, once I felt like I got all that out of me, we had a couple of altercations. But once, especially once Big passed, all of that, just kind of, I forgot all about that stuff in terms of me actually holding a grudge, and none of that was important. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
So
good.
as far as from you, that's in 1997. So that tells you how long I've been over it.
Okay, lovely. Because as I was going through some of my research and carrying on, I've always, and then when all this was playing out, I've always wanted to be the one to ask, like, well, damn, with the media being in your faces like that, do you ever have time to breathe? Even when it all passed over and everybody wanted to keep rehashing it, and well, how you feel about this, and what do you ever just say, would y'all bitches just let me breathe because I'm done? It's over?
No, but I do, but I say it just like I am now. It's not something, it comes with the territory, you know what I mean? Just like for a long time, the first thing people would ask me about would be Biggie before anything about my music or my career, and I'm doing an interview with you about me. But at the same time, I realized that over time, of course, by me, of course, dealing with it the way that I do, and being able to speak about it and be tactfully honest and know when it's, how to say if it's not necessary to really go into all of that.
Right.
It changes, and I know how to deal with it. I had a pretty good media coach, Deanna Williams, because for a long time, she's the bomb, because for a long time, especially right after Big's death, and, there was just the whole everything about East Coast, West Coast, and Biggie, and so I honestly felt like I'm a pretty sharp chick, but at the same time, I wanted to get it all in a nutshell and know how to come back and always know how to give that answer and have it in pocket so you can play around with it, but at the same time, it's going to be the same answer. If you're going to keep asking me the same question.
Okay, see there, okay. Right, okay, you can say it 5 different ways. It's going to be the same one answer. Okay?
Right.
Okay, I like that. Now, let's go here because I want to go about your vocals, and I know, first off, let me say this, because I told you this is going to be such a hodgepodge, because I really wanted to just take you off your rocker for just a second. Let me give you kudos, Miss Thing, because when you sang "You Are My Friend" for Patti LaBelle at the BET Walk of Fame for her,
I remember that.
I really didn't see Patti, that's Mama Pat. Okay, and if there's ever anyone who I call my celebrity mama, that's her. Okay. So when you came out and you did that for her, I put you in such another class for myself, to where I say if I ever tell her this or meet her, I must tell her, bitch, you did that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, thank you.
And what I loved about it was that you kept to yourself. You wasn't trying. A lot of folks who want to pay tribute to Patti want to be Patti or whatever and want to try to do whatever she does. You did what you did with that song. You made it yours. You took it and you ran with it, and I loved it. Girl, I was sitting up here. I jumped up. I have it on tape, so I play it often. And I jumped up, and I was like, okay, bitch, you better. Okay. And
I love it.
And I loved it. That was the first thing I wanted to say, was to say thank you for that, because you held your own, and I think that was one of the very first times that I actually heard the power in your voice and what you can do with yours. And then when I heard you say that your vocals are influenced by Karen Clark Sheard and some of that, give me what that is for you. Who are some of the greats for you, and who are some of those that you pull from, or who have become your self-imposed mentors?
Wow. I would definitely, and I know I used to say probably them only a lot back in the day, because my first foray into really like writing. Even I used to call myself composing. Like I had my mom buy me those sheet music papers, and I would listen to the Clark Sisters and break down the chords and write them on my music paper. But that's because they were probably my earliest influence. Again, for a long time, all I could really listen to was gospel, you know. So I used to just listen because it was just something different to my ear, aside from the different choirs that I was in love with. I mean, of course, I used to like your Richard Smallwood, your Milton Brunsons, but they were leaning a little more toward just, and maybe it was just that whole jazz R&B influence, too, that Twinkie had. But just something about their harmonies, I just listened intently and used to rewind the runs and do them real slow until I could make sure I'm doing the same run. But then a lot of that stuff that I used to think was Karen, I, later on realized some of it was Twinkie, too. For a while, I couldn't tell their voices apart.
Right.
But, so I got to give Twinkie props, too. But, I mean, just the Clark Sisters as a group, they were my very first influence where I started really listening and trying to see what they're doing with their voice. But, I mean, my school jazz band, we were like one of the only high schools in Newark, and they had a vocalist with the jazz band, which was me. So I used to travel with the jazz band, sing different jazz songs. I did, like, probably the whole Anita Baker album. I mean, I sang a lot of Anita Baker stuff. Even like, classical stuff. My chorus, we sang classical. So, I was always into scales more than run scales. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always I can hear them and I can follow them. So all of that kind of influenced what it is that people get from Faith Evans, the artist, what people hear. But, I mean, I did so much different stuff. I was in gospel plays. I did a bunch of stuff. Anything involving singing. I was singing at the airport, family day, weddings, funerals, retirement parties. I mean, I did a bunch of stuff. I just wanted to be out of the house and I wanted to be singing. So I got to give props. It's so many people. I mean, and then on my mother's end, my mother, she didn't grow up singing as much gospel. My mother back in Florida, where my family is from, my mom was the only black singer in an all-white band.
Ooh.
And this is back in the, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. So she was kind of like a little renegade. Right. They was, they really wasn't big on the letting black, they were looking at them funny, but the band would be like, if she can't come, we're not playing. So she was their vocalist, so she was listening to your Joni Mitchell, your Mamas and the Papas, your Joan Baez, Richie Hayden, all types of stuff.
Yes,
so when I would go
cool.
spend time with my mother, I'm looking through those albums and listening to them. So it was just a lot of different influences. And I think that over time, me realizing my own ability and getting more comfortable with my voice and, feeling confident about my movements, because, there was a time probably at pre-16, 17 where it wasn't the same amount of control. I wasn't as fully aware of my voice. I could sing, but at the same time, it was, definitely a development process through different influences.
Ooh, okay. Now let's go.
I know I talk a lot. I be yapping.
No, I love it. Girl, you better live for me, girl. I love it. Here's a question. From your first album to now, what has changed about Faith, the artist?
Ooh, well, number one, I am a boss. I want to be. You know what I mean. I realize the importance of being my own boss, and that doesn't mean that I won't ever be in business with someone at all, or share anything with someone. But those things are to be determined based on my discretion.
Right, dig that.
You know what I mean? And then, as a new artist, you don't really. At least me, I didn't have that personal relationship or a long relationship with someone who knew the business side so much. So, and I'm not saying that I did things wrong, but at the same time, I wasn't as aware of my own voice and the things I had a right to, express my opinion about, whether that would change it or not. But I just didn't even really, it was like, okay, they know what they're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But God kept me, and I certainly appreciate the walk and the path. But on the business side, that has changed. Musically, I definitely have developed a lot more vocally, and I like to I'm able to now creatively infuse the different things that inspire me, whether it's Mama's, all those different artists, all those different genres, and I'm not afraid to do that because I believe that the audience that I've developed and my fan base will appreciate it. So, and that's despite sales, despite what label I'm with. I know that there are people out there that appreciate what it is Faithfulness has to offer.
Now let me go here. What is one of the most important lessons that you learned about the business?
Well, you got to definitely know. It's best to know what you're signing. I think that's the most important thing because when you think of the business, it's contractual most of the time. And that's the main thing. You got to know and understand what it is that you're signing, that you're getting into, all the terms. And sometimes people come to me like, I say, well, the first thing you look at is, number one, the term of it, how long they're going to have you locked down, and what's in it for you. What's the dollars? What are you going to owe? You know what I mean? It's best to understand that because there's a lot of facets, and, one thing can lead to the next, and later on you may not want to be in this relationship, so it's like, that's why, and to be honest, I know I'm blessed because it doesn't have to be that way, but, there's plenty of people who've had a career-long relationship with one company here, what have you. But the good thing is that even though I haven't had that, I still have all those relationships. But if something ain't right for me and ain't working out for me, I got to skate.
Okay, right.
I mean, not like I'm just very sporadic in that sense, but at the same time, I'm very, I'm thinking about every aspect of it. But if overall the bigger picture ain't going to really be good for me, then, it's not worth it. So, but again, that's just probably me having grown and having learned these different things and not getting into something that's going to be hard to get out of anyway if I ain't sure.
Okay, exactly. Now, that's very interesting because Aretha did that. She's been with Arista for forever. And when she left Arista after all those years because she said the contract just wasn't, we just could not get it right,
Right.
Patty left, when she had problems over there with Def Jam and carrying on. So, when it comes down to that business side, honey, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Now, here's the thing, because I mentioned Fighting Temptations, and you were mentioning being in these gospel plays and carrying on. Number one, let me give you kudos for this one, Heifer, because you took that Donna Summers girl and made that one your almost thing.
Oh, you know what? You talking about from the movie, right?
Yes, honey. You took Heaven Knows and did that for me.
Thank you. That was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Big Jim. They did that soundtrack, so that was a lot of fun. That was my only time really being able to work with them. But they definitely, I like how they did this. I like how they redid it. It definitely enabled me to bring what I brought to it.
Yes, baby, I live for that, honey. Because I'm like, oh, she plays with these little notes here and there. I was like, Miss Faye, okay. I love you for that. Now, here's the thing, because I see that you're branching out into acting and carrying on, and there was this big old buzz with, girl, it was just uncanny how you look so much like Florence Ballard, honey. What's going on, honey? When are we looking for that to come on out? Because I can't wait to see you do this.
Well, I don't really know the status of the project. I never had a deal for the project, so basically, I just kind of got the call, told them I was with it, and just kind of started promoting it because as far as I was concerned, I was on board. But I'm assuming that there's some little hiccups with production, so I'm over here. But to be quite honest, I bonded with her children a couple of times when I've been to Detroit. I went out there first to meet them for the movie, and then I've been there a couple of times since, and I always make sure I get to see them, when I do a show. And we keep in contact, and I really feel in my heart that that's something that needs to happen. So hopefully, even if not with this company that was initially trying to do it, that is something that I totally would love to be able to do even on my own, if I had to put it together, because I now feel a responsibility
Oh, okay.
But I ain't about to step in nobody else's pile of mess either. So I, see what's going on.
Okay, dig that. Well, honey, we're gonna put that out there into the Omniverse because number one, when I saw the promo steals and all the stuff that had hit, and I was like, this would be so perfect because everything it just fit, and I don't believe in coincidences because God just does too much. And taps us on our shoulders to get our attention for anything to be just haphazardly a coincidence. So for that to line up the way that it did, Miss Thing, I'm putting that out there. I cannot see anybody else doing that but you because you have just you're burned into my memory for that. And you look so much like her to where it just to tell that story from that standpoint, honey, it would be Oscar worthy. It would be like how Jamie Foxx did with Ray. He looked just like the man. It would.
And her story needs to be told.
God, yes, because it's been too long. It's been too long without that particular voice. And we've heard the Dream Girl side of it, the embellishment of it. But we need to hear Flo's story. And I would love to hear you. Girl, I got Flo's album and carrying on Miss Thing. I would love you in the studio on some of Flo's tracks. Miss Thing. Girl. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, that'd be too much. Ooh, butter popcorn, girl.
Why was that the one I was about to say?
This thing, butter popcorn. Anyway, okay, I'm getting giddy because I'm hearing that in my head. That's too much. It's too much. Okay, pull it together, girl. Pull it together because that took me way out there. I get that way, child. But
you are a kiki.
Baby, I'm telling you because I'm hearing that, and I'm hearing, coming into your vocals like I know your vocals, honey, just to hear you playing that a little bit and put your little stank on it, girl. That face ever stank. Oh, that would just be hollow. Now let me ask this, because see, this is where I'm going with this. The gay community loves some Faith Evans. And a lot of the girls, honey, my female impersonators and stuff gravitate to your music constantly. What do you say to those girls? Because I know there are some artists who really don't like the impersonators and carrying on.
What? Yeah, that's an honor. That is an honor. Whether it's a gay impersonator or a straight impersonator, I mean, that's like the level to me. Being that the gay community certainly heavily supports me. I just did a show for Black Gay Pride in L.A. a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And it was my first time really being able to perform for them because I've always wanted to. People are like, why aren't you performing? So hopefully I'll get to do more. But that to me, being that they are huge supporters of my music, is the equivalent of like a Weird Al, doing somebody's record. When I know I made it with the gays if they impersonating me.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't mean that by saying the gays in any disrespectful way
I know what you
at
mean.
all.
Oh,
I mean,
please, we got that. Okay, because one of the things my hometown is Detroit, so I know there's a couple of girls there that part of the whole idea of the illusion is the lookalikes, because that's where we make most of our money. Because I'm one of them, girl, and so. So a lot of that, a lot of the girls that sit down there and capture that look and this, that, and the other, it really is an homage to you. And so I've always wanted to know, how a lot of the girls felt like that, because I've heard that Bette Midler is not one who particularly fancies all of that.
Really?
Yes, at least she said that in an interview like years and years and years ago. I think her mind has changed since then. But she felt like, it took me all this time to build my career for somebody to come up and just to snatch all these hard-working years, just
How
because they got my
snatching
image. I don't know, girl. Like I said, that was something she said like in the late 80s. And I'm sure over the time that she may have changed her mind. But
I love Bette Midler.
Girl, I do too, honey.
I love her. She's so the bomb.
And the kids sit up there, they give her the kudos of being the white Patty the Bear, the bitch to come on now. Okay, you better say something. But maybe at first she didn't understand that it is really paying homage. Maybe. But like I said, that was years and years ago, and I think she was just in a different space at that time. And I'm sure that her mind has changed since then. But at this particular point, the new album now, something about faith.
Mhm.
Give us the whole backstory of this, because as I'm listening to it, there's a lot of storytelling in this, and for me, this particular project is more so. I've learned that I learned how to love myself, and I put my faith in God. Is what resonates a lot in this particular project. What was your mission with this one?
Well, for one, this is my first album that wasn't released by a major label. It was an independent release, so it's a totally different walk. But creatively, it's like, for me, it was showing that I can do this. I can call on people. I'm good people. I got a lot of, even though I ain't the one that take the industry home with me and trying to be talking to everybody. I got 4 kids, so I really don't have time for that. But I have pretty good relationships, you know what I mean, with lots of people, because I'm always the same me. If someone calls on me for something, I'm there. You know, I take it as an honor that you called me. So it was my chance to show that. And that's I'm speaking on that because it ended up being so many great features, so many great producers. And I did it with $2.99.
Okay, right.
I mean,
no budget.
Really though, it's no real budget like that. I'm not saying nobody got paid, but it was definitely paling in comparison to what they deserve and usually get. But I knew that I could do it. I knew that, I could go in and pull in different writers and producers and make a great album. And although it's disappointing that they kind of dropped the ball with promoting it, but that's just kind of a part of it, I guess, doing that independent deal. But at the same time, it's still, for me, a triumph because I own it. It's mine. I did it, and I could still put it out again in another way if I want to, really, But at the same time, it was more for me just really gratification, seeing it come together. And, I guess that kind of played a part in the creative process, which is what you're hearing, just that freedom and that it's not like I'm trying to do this and I'm trying particularly to make something that they're going to play on the radio. And don't get me wrong, that's always a plus. But at the same time, it was more just my creative expression of freedom and those lessons that I have learned this long in my career.
I'm hearing that a lot with a lot of people who've gone independent. Stephanie Mills have said that. Amuka have said that, formerly from the Brides of Funkenstein. Alexander O'Neal said that when he was on the show, that being independent, it gives you that creative freedom. Explain to the audience what does that mean to an artist? Because I don't understand. People really don't get it. Outside of, understanding the record label is telling you this and creating your image because they say this is what they think you should do, versus you saying, damn, I can breathe, I can be me, this is what it is that I want to do. Is there any way you can explain that so folks can understand that?
Well, there's kind of a few sides to that, because one thing I can honestly say, I hear that a lot and I understand that, but I really didn't deal with that so much, in the beginning of my career as far as I mean, maybe so, but for example, I was never a thin chick. I mean, I had lost some weight when I first came out because I had just had China like a year and a half before, but at the same time, I was never modelish or even just what you would think they would want this artist to look like. That's not something I was really under a lot of pressure from. I must be honest. Even if it was something they wanted, I didn't really get that. I think that God blessed me to where how I even came into the relationship with Puff, it was just he respected my talent, and I don't know, it just came together. But I have heard the stories, they wanted me to do this. But in hindsight, I can't say I didn't necessarily love all the hairstyles or the outfits. I thought I definitely looked older than what I was then, but I did understand the picture he said he was trying to portray. So I just went with it and trusted it. It ain't like I'm, looking through Vogue every day back then knowing what I should have wore, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, whatever, it worked. So, but for me with the independent thing, and let me add this too, I'm not saying I wouldn't do another major album release, because that's not always the vehicle for certain artists. You understand? Like, I still have some faith in fans that don't know that album is out.
Exactly.
Or may just be finding out almost a year later. So, it's a double-edged sword, but for me it was just the freedom of knowing it's mine. I own it. Ain't nobody got my publishing. Ain't nobody these my masters, which is something I never had in my whole career.
Ooh,
so
okay.
that for me was me. I'm a boss. I'm my own boss. I'm writing these checks. I'm, to everybody. So that was for me what it was. For other people, maybe they had been through another, the industry in that other way where it's completely molded and everything by the label. But it wasn't really so much that. It was just me wanting to feel free, me wanting my publishing back.
Right, dig it.
Which I got back before my indie deal, but, I was just like, it's me.
Okay, dig it. Okay, dig that. Dig that. Now, there were some bumps and bruises along the way because Miss Faith Evans have made some headlines that were not so pleasant. There, you spoke publicly, about some of the drug abuse and carrying on that happened in the past. And
no, correction. I was never a drug abuser. No, I was never a drug abuser.
That's why I put it that way.
I think if anything I had in my life ever abused, it would be weed.
Shut up.
But I mean, if you could, I'm just saying, there was a time when, especially back in the Brooklyn, Biggie,
right.
Like, that's all we did.
Okay,
But I was never a drug abuser. I did say in my book that I have tried different things, but that's not something that's ever encumbered me. Like, I know when something ain't for me. And that's not something, I think the arrest, which is maybe what you're referring to in Atlanta with me and my husband, I think that was just, it was so weird because a lot of things happen that it's like it really wasn't like that. A la the East Coast, West Coast thing, having to be painted with a tag that ain't really you. So I think things like that, which is, crazy, but it prepares you because that was nothing to me. Like, I'm like, I know me, and most importantly, my kids know me. They wasn't scared to get in the car with me. They know their mother. You know what I mean? They may have felt a little embarrassment just thinking what people think, but they know me. And that next morning when I got out of jail, I was right in that carpool line picking them up from school. Like what?
Okay. You ain't shit. Right.
That's my most important concern was God knows me, my family knows me, and those that love me know me, and they know that ain't me. So, that was just a real horrible arrest gone wrong, I think, because, to be honest, what they actually found when they said they found contraband was a cigarette case with a half a joint in it. And they claim they found, not even they, I don't even know who went on record because I've heard so many different things that all of them couldn't have possibly come from the person that pulled us over. So you know what I'm saying? It was something that I kind of was like, what in the world? I know this is about to be crazy. When they told me the media was outside of the jail, so I just called my mother, made sure my kids were okay, and, had to just go through it real quick. Take a deep breath, and you'll get through it.
Wow.
It'll be somebody, and I still had to deal with whatever the legal ramifications were, but as far as personally, it didn't shake me because God prepared me.
Dig it.
And there's a reason. It's like even though when you're going through crazy stuff, you're like, why? But it's like I got to now, I wear those things as a badge of honor because I'm still the same me, even stronger.
Dig that. Now, here's the ticket, because we were talking about your children. Your mother of four beautiful babies. Okay?
Thank you.
4 beautiful babies. Okay, little Meech over here said, how did China do with that?
China?
Uh-huh.
She's about to go to college.
Okay.
She's going to the Clive Davis School of Music at NYU.
Oh, get out. Okay.
Yes, so I'm really proud of her. She's doing really well. All of my kids are doing good.
Now, Chris the second, I don't like saying junior. Chris the second.
He's actually not a junior.
Okay.
He's not.
Him being in the movie and carrying on, is he having acting aspirations as well? Is he looking to do that further? Or
well, yeah, actually, he just also was in this movie with Will Ferrell that just came out this summer called Everything Must Go.
Oh.
And actually, he got a call. He and my other son Josh just got a call back for a project that they read for last week. I mean, we're not like out like momager and papager, but
right.
I think he's been granted a little bit of favor in that he did get to do 2 major movie roles and did well. So people call, but we don't do it all the time. But if he gets the call for something and he does well and his grades are right, then I let him do it.
Okay, wait. I like that part. Back that up. And them grades are right. Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
And the braids are right. Okay, you better. Okay, I love that. Oh, I love that right there. Yes,
oh, yeah. I told him he got lucky that last time because I'm like, if you were this past school year when he started high school, I was like, if you was to get a call now for something and they want you, you wouldn't be doing it. You better get it together.
Ooh.
He knows.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Now, how did you prepare them, for them to handle Faith Evans versus me and Mama at home? Because, like you said, paparazzi was doing this, that, and the third. You got all this negative stuff that folks want to sit up there and throw the shade and this, that, and the other. How was it you, as a mother, was able to say, listen, babies, let me hip y'all to what's going on and don't believe everything and y'all know your mama, blah, blah, blah. What was that like for you?
Well, you know what? That's never been a struggle for me, to be quite honest. I think things like that are, even with what you said, like paparazzi, I never really had those issues like that. And people, even on a different note, when people say, oh, do you just be out, people don't bother you? I think that's like the energy you carry with yourself. Like, I'm always the same me. Most of the time I'm running around L.A. with my workout clothes on. I mean, running around my neighborhood anyway.
Right.
I'm just safe. Even if people recognize me, I say hi. It's not really a big, like, I'm walking with an entourage and, I'm going to the bank, going to Target. I am their mother, and they see me. They've been in the industry and been in those type of settings, but they see that I'm always the same me. So, there's no other way to be. So I don't think that's something that we've ever had a problem with. I mean, when things come up and you go through those issues in the media, I've even heard them talking on their own, like, that's crazy because if we didn't know Mom, we would think she was Mom. They be like, Dag, I be saying I want to be an artist, but I don't know because I'm like, yeah, but they have it they have an example in me. That's what I'm trying to say, of how to handle it.
Okay, lovely. Loverly. Now, let me ask this because, this may be playing a little devil's advocate here and there, but maybe not. But the art of having friendships in this business, genuine, true friendships and not industry associates, what has that been like for you?
I don't know. I mean, I always tend to say, like, well, I don't really take that home with me, like the industry, or if I go out to an event, it's not like I don't have a few people's numbers here and there that I kind of keep in contact with, but usually my schedule and my lifestyle, having children and being so, really serious about it.
Right.
I mean, it's like I don't, unless someone is able and provide happenstance, we hook up and they kids. And, like, for example, Moni Love is one of my good friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not someone that people would necessarily know that unless they just know either of us, but we've been friends for a very long time. It's not always who you would think. Like, I still like Misa is a good friend of mine. We've been friends since back in the Bad Boy days. So it's just because of those relationships. We just happen to develop relationships beyond the work. It wasn't forced, for whatever reason. I saw maybe the good in me bonded with the good in them, and not that there aren't other good people, but for whatever reason we just didn't hook up on that level. But I mean, I'm not looking for things like that. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of times in recent years that I've met people and actually ended up liking them and becoming friends with them, but they're not necessarily just artists or, things like that.
Okay.
Me and Chucky Thompson are still good friends, but that's just, Yeah. And that's not to slight anybody because there's plenty of people that I do consider friends, but,
Right. Okay, yeah. Okay, she ain't
I talk to Little Mo.
Right.
Right, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But they know who they are.
You know who you are. Thank you. Okay, the list is too long to name everybody. They give me 30 seconds. They're going to play me off so you know who you are.
Right. And I don't get to talk to all of them all the time. But there's, those relationships where even if you lose touch with someone for a few years, when you see them again, it's still the same,
Right.
Like the other day I happened to speak to Big Bub, who Right, and he heard I was in Atlanta and I was gone already. Oh, that's no pun intended. But I had left Atlanta already. And, I hadn't talked to him in a few years, but it was like, hey, baby, you're my baby. I mean, we bonded when we worked together on Mary's My Life album back in the day. But, I just, I'm good people.
Yes, you are. I told you. Girl, you became my new little sister friend. I'm like, this girl here is the team. Now, over your career, at this particular point, you've done a number of duets, and I'm going to play one of my favorite ones. And this hit me when I heard it, because I was like, wow, how did you pull this off, and what was this like to work with Mama Shirley Caesar, girl?
I'm sorry, with who?
Mama Shirley Caesar.
Oh, wow. I was so shocked. She called me. I'm like, she knows me?
Okay.
I was so honored and shocked. Like, wow. I first immediately called my grandmother because she is her Inez, those are like her all-time favorites.
Okay,
And so for me, out of all these years, to finally not only be doing a gospel record, which I did a couple before that, but to be doing one with like her favorite, she was so happy. I thought of my grandmother, and then I was just so honored that she wanted to. I'm always nervous when I'm in the studio with other good singers. It's so weird.
Okay.
I think because I'm just used to being in the studio by myself, recording my stuff, and, although I'm on a lot of features, but sometimes you get the advantage of being able to do your vocals by yourself.
Right.
And I'm like a perfectionist. I be liking to fix stuff, so I'm like, Dad, I don't want to do all that. I'll be doing it in my session, so get it together.
Okay. Was it like that with you and Whitney and Kelly? No Heartbreak
Absolutely.
Hotel? Okay.
Absolutely. But because the part that I had to do was already very much intact, it wasn't, I got to ad-lib so much and sing a whole verse. I knew I was doing that B section part and a few ad-libs, so it was cool. It was a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
It was, I knew and Whitney's vocal was mostly there, so I was able to kind of know to lay in the pocket here and there. I ain't trying to be competing and screaming over people,
I would dig that.
I just try to lay in my pocket.
Okay. Okay. 8-ball corner pocket.
You are fun, too.
Okay.
You be up in there having a ball.
Girl, listen. The whole idea of this child is to sit down. A lot of times folks forget that we're interviewing because I like it that way. Hell, sometimes I'm up in here with a cocktail, but because I have to go to the donut factory afterwards, honey, so I can't cocktail like I want to. But usually I'll sit down here with some kind of refreshing drink, and we'll sit down and dish tea, honey, just tea. Because everybody wants to make sure that you are a real person. A lot of folks don't, I'd like to get people to come out of what folks see them as the celebrity, the glitz and the glamour and all of that. Because we all know the business is show. All of that is show. Okay, bitch, I'm on the stage, honey. I got this damn hairdo that if I shake wrong, it's going to fall off. Okay, I got these lashes on. If I sweat, cut that light down some. Because if I sweat too hard, this bitch is going to be in my lap or in somebody's, I'm going to take it off. When I'm doing the show, honey, I take my titties out and I throw them at folks because I can. Okay. Because I can.
Okay.
But it gets hot, and so when it's all said and done, everybody, hell, we all got to pee, we all got to eat. We all scratch here and there, honey, and your head get to hurting. So we all are common, and that's the whole point. So I always have a good time, honey.
And you know what? That the glitz and glamour. The celebrity, the whatever you call it, not even celebrity, because you could be an artist and not be super popular. But just that whole, it's not always the lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people that, probably because of the level of stardom or, whatever it is, that is more like a part of their lifestyle than not being that way because they have to be on all the time. But I'm actually very thankful. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it because I don't have, like, super extra help. Like, me and my husband, and we got a babysitter that leaves at 4:30. So I can't with 4 kids. I don't know. I have to have that balance. That's why I tend to say, I guess that's what I mean by I don't really take it home with me, because my life, that's just my job. And I do realize that it touches a lot of people, and people are going to recognize me. That don't mean they got to see me like they see me on stage, because most of the time they won't.
Okay,
so don't be disappointed.
Okay,
don't be disappointed.
I don't feel like putting that hair on today now. I want to be comfortable in my jeans. Shit. Okay, I'm going out here to the grocery store, child. I can't go out here in 6-inch pumps now. Hell.
Right.
Okay, you talking about going down here and I got this child screaming talking about, mama, can I have? Boy, if you don't shut your ass up.
Oh, me. I just realized it's 11. Listen, but I ain't gonna cut it off. We can tie it up. I don't want to just cut it off because I'm already behind my schedule.
You're already behind, and I told you. See, once we get to getting, but I want to respect your time, honey. So while we're wrapping up, let everyone know where they can find all of your music, and especially the new piece, and where they can, Facebook you, Twitter you, give everybody all of that.
The new album is called Something About Faith. And although I did a distribution deal, a lot of people were complaining that they couldn't find it. But iTunes never sells out. It's online. It's in some stores. Thank you to everybody that supported my memoir. It did very well. And it's kind of one of those things where I don't even know if people are buying it now, but a lot of people are reading it, which is a good thing because people are kind of handing it down to the next person like, oh, you should read this. So I still hear people complimenting or saying they just finished my book. So thank you to everybody who did. I am working on a few different things. Oh, you can Twitter me. Hit me on Twitter at Miss Dunaway, MissDunaway. My website, actually, we just got it back up. We had some issues with the people on whatever, but it's faithevансonline.com. I'm co-producing a couple of reality projects with my girl Nikki Gilbert, which I don't want to give too many details, but definitely something to look forward to because there was a time when I was shooting a pilot and working on possibly my own show, but I kind of really didn't feel like I wanted to do that right now.
Right.
So that was kind of out in the media, but no, it's not like the Faith Evans show, but I am behind a couple of upcoming reality shows, in addition to just starting to work on my next music project, and some people have been calling me about doing a movie out of my book, so, I'm just trying to really, see what makes sense and take advantage of everything that does make sense to me while still being a mother to my 4 kids. So.
Okay, dig that. Well, my darling, I want to take this time and say thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. And I called this show, honey, Faith is the Substance, honey, our one-on-one with Faith Evans. So always understand, honey, you are one who is all substance, honey. There's no fluff. There's no flair. There's always substance there. And I appreciate you for being the woman that you are, for being the mother that you are, just in what you said about how you love your children, honey. I my heart goes out for that. I love all that. And I thank you for just allowing your gift to minister to us the way that it has, for being a voice in these rough seas for some of the ladies out there and some men who gravitate to your music. So we just thank you for that, sister. We thank you, and we thank you.
And thank you for having me. This was so much fun. We have to do it again.
Oh, of course, darling. You know that. Now, here, you go ahead and take care of your business and care, though, because, supper's on the table at 7. So go ahead and pick up. Okay? And I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, honey, can you stand it, honey? Can you absolutely stand it? Okay, I told y'all that's my sister. Did I tell you that's my sister? Did I say that's my sister? Okay? Miss Faith Evans, ladies and gentlemen. Honey. I'm telling you, this is the tea. Now, listen, I got a few more minutes. Now, before we go off the air, I said I was going to play this, but I didn't want to interrupt her. But I want y'all to hit this song, honey, that she did with Shirley Caesar. So all of those who are Faith Evans fanatics and carrying on, I want you to go, I forgot to tell her that my coworker Greg said, hey, and he's in love with her. I'll text her that. Greg, I'm sorry, but I'm going to text her to her and let her know that she know that you said that you in love with her. Okay? But here, I want you to listen to this. is called Hurting Woman. This is Faith Evans with gospel legend. And this is Mama Shirley Caesar, right here on Blog Talk Radio. There we go.
It's been 8 years since we started. Our anniversary is oh so near. We have weathered the storms that have come our way, and we've conquered every fear. Now we stand before this mountain of pain that's hard to move, and it seems as if you don't even care. What am I supposed to do? You see, I cried myself to sleep at night, lying in bed alone, filled with feelings of abandonment, because you're never home. So strong. Oh, yes, we do. Just as long I will. Oh, yeah. You gave him 3 wonderful children just to carry on his name. And he said, you're the blame. You've done what every good woman should do, many times denying yourself. But he's still somebody else. I see your dreams shattered of what could be. Yet you seem so distant and so far away. She needs you here with a listening ear to hear what she has to say. She's a hurting woman, and she loves you so much. You're her husband. Oh yeah. As long as God is up above, stay right there on your bended knee. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You see, I made a vow to you. Ooh. And I won't turn back now. Oh, no, no. And I know the Lord will see you through. But I'm a hurting woman. He's a hurting woman. Yes, he is. You're my husband, and I need you. You're her husband. Yes, I need you. As long as God is up above, I'll be by your side. He's gonna wipe every tear. Oh yeah. See, I'm a hurting woman. But I made a vow to the Lord and to you. See, our children need you too. You've been praying, and we need you. Yes, we need you. Yeah, yeah. So strong. Oh yeah. You're my husband, and I need you. Your wife loves you. Yeah. See, we got 3 little babies. Yeah. Joy is on us, and I'm gonna
Faith Evans and Mama Shirley Caesar, honey. Wasn't that sick thing? I'm telling you, honey, when I heard that, I was like, oh, my God, honey. This here is, an anthem. It's a really good spiritual anthem for women to get together, And I love that. I love that. So, yes, honey, today has been a very fulfilling day. I'm glad you guys came on through and shared just your time and your space with us today. I thank again Miss Faith Evans for coming on and sharing her time with us so that we can get into the world, honey, of who Faith Evans is, dispel some of the myths. Now, you heard it here, honey. She said, she was never a substance abuser other than weed. Okay, if there was anything to be said, honey, a lot of that shade and stuff out there is just that. It's shade. And I love that. So we were able to get all that cleared up so that there's no misconceptions or misunderstandings. And I don't want no hard feelings. Okay? With that, honey, let me say hello and thank you, honey. This show could not have been possible without all of my sponsors. I said I was going to say hello to you here at the end of the program. So let me say hello to Georgia Peach Restaurant and Lounge down there in the underground Atlanta. Thank you for your love and your support. Southern Hospitality and Southern Fusion Cuisine. And for more information, contact them at 404-348-4300. 404-348-4300. I want to say thank you to Trade Day Management and PR firm. At Trade Day, enjoy a touch of Southern hospitality with a universal appeal. For all of your public relations and entertainment management needs, contact Travion Davenport, 678-523-3088, or email at tradedaypr@gmail.com. That's tradedaypr@gmail.com. Pharaoh's Treasure Box, fine art, unique jewelry, and sensational 3D silk floral arrangements. Creations by Taps. For all of your decorative needs, contact Pharaoh's Treasure Box at 248-688-5178 or 5179. Again, that's 248-688-5178 or 5179. Or go to Pharaoh's Treasure Box at yahoo.com. That's Pharaoh's Treasure Box, PHAROAH, Treasure Box, at yahoo.com. Parisian Wine Productions, music to lighten your spirits and to lift your soul, specializing in gospel, house music, and inspirational dance music production. For all of your Christian or church social needs, contact Parrish Hairston. He's the CEO at 646-243-9396, 646-243-9396, or email at paris42268 at yahoo.com, paris42268 at yahoo.com. Echam Vidal Couture. Okay, enjoy high fashion with a luxurious twist. Step into the future with fresh, innovative couture. Designs by Miss Michi DeVale. For more information, contact Michi at 313-996-9807. That's 313-996-9807. Or go to facebook.com/Michi DeVale, MICHIEEDEVALE. Big Brothers Network, the BBN, a new online web magazine designed to show the world the class and the style of the debonair man of size and his admirers. For more information or to check out our latest anniversary edition, we're now 1 year old, go to www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. That's www.bigbrothers, network.com. The CABC, the Caribbean Boys Entertainment Network. We cater, promote, entertain, and provide special services with the Caribbean swagger, island flavor on the mainland. Bam, bam. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the CEO and founder of the CABC. For more information, please contact Silvano at Caribbean Boys, ATL at yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL at yahoo.com, or go to Facebook. Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's SYLVANO TDMARCO. Kissing After Dark. Kissing After Dark is Atlanta's premier social events for those who are tired of the same old party scene. The premier events are across the ATL where the grown and sexy can become the seasoned and sophisticated. For more information, go to www.kissingafterdark.com. www.facebook.com or go to the Facebook page at www.facebook.com/KissInAfterDark. Swirl Films, the #1 urban film production company specializing in all areas of film production, including directing, producing, script writing, budgeting and scheduling, production assembling, and post-production. For more information, contact Eric Thomas-Sunis, Russ Parr, or Keith Neal at 910-798-2934. That's 910-798-2934, or go to their website at www.swirlfilms.com. Again, that's www.swirlfilms.com. All right. Thank you to all of my sponsors. I love you. I appreciate you. Once again, check your local listings for Soul Kitten Supper Club. That's going to be coming on BET. Yours truly has a cameo appearance, honey. So, yes, I'm going to be seen on BET real soon. Ha, ha, ha. So, yes, Faith Evans, Fantasia, Nikki Gilbert of Brownstone, honey, all of Crystal, you know Crystal Wilson, honey, from Players Club. Those girls, Dave Tolliver, my boy Dave Tolliver, honey, formerly of Men at Large, he's in that. So you guys want to check that out and to support urban theater classics like that. Like I said, yours truly is going to be have a little cameo appearance in there as well. So check your local listings on BET. And with that, my darlings, honey, yes, let me sit down and relax because I've got to get some rest because I still got to go make some more donuts later on this evening. So with that being said, honey, you can finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished. All right, honey. If you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But one thing is for certain, honey, this thing will move forward. Without any further ado, honey, I want you to go to my page, honey, www.facebook.com/AwakeBigMeech. Yes, to go to my book page, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, so that way you can tap into that. Go to the Facebook page as well for Dishing Tea with Big Meech for more information. If you want show ideas or if you have anything that you want to comment on, you can go there. So without any further ado, I'm going to bid you guys a farewell for today, and we'll see you all back here next week where we will be talking with Army Al, honey. We're going to go into the armed forces and understand the business behind working for Uncle Sam. Yes, this is going to be a doozy. So until next time, darling, I will talk with you again soon, and know that I love you, I love you, I love you, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Until then, ciao.